Greetings, Iain from RTO here. Welcome to Tuesday. Kicking us off today, we have a viewer's request, and the band that I can't remember who asked for it, but the band that was asked for are The Cross. Now, The Cross are a band formed in 1987 by Queen drummer Roger Taylor. They only released 3 albums, but in contrast to Queen and other outside projects, Roger fronted the band and played rhythm and guitar instead of drums. On the debut album, he recorded it all on his own, but it was incorporated dance influences similar to Hot Space, which sends shivers down your spine. But he dropped it for the next 2. So the debut album, he did all the musicians, and he brought in a few people that actually formed the band The Cross. I think this was intended to be a solo project, but it ended up being a band. So coming in at number 3, we have the debut album, surprise surprise, from 1988, and it is called Shove It. As I said, Roger plays most of it, but Spike Edney does a few keyboards. Clayton Moss does some guitar on some of the tracks. Peter Noone plays bass guitar on a few. Josh McRae on drums. Additional personnel on here is Brian May, plays a little bit of guitaring. And there's a lead vocal guest, a certain Freddie Mercury. And then we get a guy doing some saxophones called Gary Barnacle on Cowboys and Indians, Contract and Stand Up for Love. First track on this one is the title track, Shove It. One of the better tracks on the album, got a really good riff. The only thing I'd say about it, the drums are a bit plastic. Then we get Cowboys and Indians. The only thing good about this is the sax. The rest of it is terrible, it's too funky, and it's certainly not rock and roll. Then we got Contact. One of the better tracks on here. That's all I'll say about it. It's listenable. Then we get Heaven for Everyone, and people go, is that the track off Made in Heaven? It is. But this is the original version. And this is a little bit more funky. I don't know which ones I prefer. They're both good. It's a good track anyway, and a fine vocal from Freddie on that. Stand Up for Love. If you don't like Hot Space, you're not going to like this. Not very good. Love on a Tightrope, like an animal. Sounds too much like the start of Radio Gaga. Keyboards are horrible on this. Not a very good track. Then we get a track called Love Lives Bleeding. Open brackets. She was a wicked Willy waitress. Close brackets. It's okay. It's got some nice riffs in it, and of course it's got some very nice guitar work from Mr. Brian May. Then the last track is the best track on the album. It's called Rough Justice. It's a little bit more rocky than poppy, and it's a great vocal from Roger. Now I remember buying this and I thought, oh my god, what's going on here? I very rarely play this album. I don't think I'd played it for years until I listened to it to do this, and I remember it's still rubbish. And so I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10 because it does feature a little bits of genius from Freddie and Brian. So I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 4 out of 10. Okay, then coming in at number 2, we have the final and third album released in 1991, and it's called Blue Rock. So on here we've got Roger Taylor on the lead vocals, Spike Edney on the keyboards and backing vocals, Clayton Moss on guitars and backing vocals, Peter Noone on bass guitar, and he sings lead vocals on Heartland. Josh McRae on the drums, and some guests, Jeffrey Richardson on viola and violin, Helen Liebman on cello, and backing vocals are done by Candy and Claire Yates. I wonder if they're sisters. Or mother and daughter. Who knows? Cousins. Who knows? So the first track on this one is called Bad Attitude. This is more like it. This is a proper rock track with some great riffs. Great vocal from Roger. Like that track a lot. New Dark Ages. Another good track. Great vocal here from Roger. The bass line from Peter Noone is really, really good. Dirty Mind. It's a gentle track, but it's not the best track on the album. It's a little bit wishy-washy. Baby It's Alright. It's a bit of a rock and rolly thing. The guitar solo sounds like got a bit of a Hank Marvin going on. There's nothing wrong with that. Then we got a track called Ain't Put Nothing Down. I like this. There's a great solo in this. It's a really good track. The Also Rans, interesting arrangement. It's a bit experimental, but not for me. Millionaire, it's a pleasant enough track, but I wouldn't go overboard on it. It's just a very pleasant track. Then we get a track called Put It All Down to Love. My favourite track on this album. It's got some great riffs. It's one of Roger's best vocals on the album. Then we get Hand of Fools. Nice track, some lovely keyboard from Spike on this. Quite like that. Life Changes. It's alright. It's got some good guitar work on it though. And I do like the riffs on this. Okay, this isn't a bad reason. Bad track, sorry. There's a couple of weaker tracks on it, but it's still a great listen. So I'm going to give it a RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Right, I've got a mouth ulcer coming again. I keep getting these when I'm not a bit low. Sort of tongue ties you a bit. Okay then, coming in at number 1 then is the second album, and it was released in 1990, and it's called Mad, Bad and Dangerous to Know. Same lineup: Roger Taylor, Spike Edney, Clayton Moss, Peter Noone and Josh McRae. First track on this one is called Top of the World Ma. That opening riff is brilliant. And it's a strong track. Great rocker to start the album. Then we have a track called Liar, and it's not a cover of the Queen version, it's their own song. Strong track. Really good guitar work from Clayton Moss. Like that one a lot. Closer to You. This is a great rock track. The guitar work is great, and Roger plays guitar. You can hear Roger's guitar on it because there's a lead guitar bit, and the rhythm guitar is brilliant. Good guitar player is Roger. Then we get Breakdown. Nice gentle track. It's alright, but it's got a great guitar solo on it. Then we got Penetration Guru, my favourite track on the album. Probably my favourite track by The Cross. Got a great strong vocal from Roger. The keyboards sound great. Great stuff. Power to Love, another great rocker. The bass line from Peter's brilliant. Spike's Hammond organ just enriches the track. Great stuff. Then we get Sister Blue, strong track. The riffs are really strong in this one. And a great vocal as always from Mr. Taylor. Brilliant little track. Then we get a cover version of a Jimi Hendrix song, Foxy Lady. And to be quite honest, they do a very, very good version on it, and Roger's vocals are brilliant on it. Then we get Better Things. You got a sort of it's a bit of an acoustic number, and you've got Clayton and Roger singing together on it. It's pretty good. They would sing well together. Passion for Trash. Solid rocker. It's got a great guitar solo on it. Absolutely belting from Clayton Moss. Then we got Old Man, open brackets, Lay Down, close brackets. Probably the weakest track on the album. I'm not very keen on it. And then we get a track called Final Destination that rounds off the album. Now, it's a very good track, but it's when you listen to it, it's a very slowed down version of the title track of Strange Frontier. but with different lyrics. I like it. It's a very good track. Okay, I remember this coming out, and I was in two minds to get it or not because of the debut album. But it was in the days where you could go in and actually say, "Can you play a bit of that?" Well, what the record shop I got it from allowed you to, and they put it on for me. They just kept dropping it on some of the tracks, and then I went, "Yeah, okay, no problem." Because I thought it was a better sound. If it would have been more like Shove It, it would have been. I would have told him to shove it. But I'm glad I got this now because it's a great album. I play it quite a lot. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. So there we go, another request. There's lots of requests coming up now. I think after Christmas, every album ranking will be a request. So we're getting through your requests at last. So that's all for this one. I'll be back later with a very special retro ranking. As it's Remembrance Day this week, I thought I'd do a little tribute. And I thought, what can I do? And I thought, I know, I will choose my favourite war themes. So that's what I have done. So I've got 20 war themes for you. So join me for that. So bye for now.